This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 327.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. Why, hello everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one event next weekend. We have WordCamp Europe online, as all WordCamps right now are online for the rest of this year, as far as I can tell. This was supposed to be out in Porto, Portugal, but it didn't happen, obviously. It's free, 3 days, June 4th through 6th, like I said earlier, and I'm going to sign up for this one myself and try to attend a little bit of it. Of course, you know, attending camps online is not the same as attending a WordCamp in person. There was a thread in this on Twitter recently about this. So I'm looking forward to WordCamps in person coming back real soon as well. So check that out, WordCamp Europe online. Moving on, segment one in the news. Let's see. Oh, Automattic invested in matrix.org. There's a long post from Matthew Hodgson over at matrix.org/blog. I'll link in the show notes. Matrix is interesting. They are doing... they have some tools and what's it called here? They're like someone mentioned they're kind of doing like a Slack, but they're investing in that. They actually Automattic is also looking for a Matrix developer, so there's some information there. I haven't dove too far down this rabbit hole, if you will, to read more about it just yet, but they are investing there as well. And lastly, in the news, happy belated birthday last week. Oh, was it this week? I think maybe it was this week, because I didn't mention it on last week's episode. Yeah, anyway, it's WordPress is 17, so happy belated birthday to WordPress at 17 years old. That's crazy. Almost legal adult voting age to do something like that. So, all right, moving on, segment two, the meat potatoes. This week is a question and answer episode, and I have three great questions, and some of them, actually, the first two have many sub-questions. So, first and foremost, this is sent in by my buddy Steven, who's submitted questions before. What are the differences between SSL certificates, free, paid, wildcard? Does my web host provide SSL for free? If so, what kind? How do I install, purchase? Wow. And why is SSL needed? Okay, so that's a lot of questions, Stephen. Let's start with this, the definition. SSL is short for Security Sockets Layer. It's a type of technology that encrypts, i.e. Renders things unreadable, data transferred between users and websites. Okay. It ensures that malicious third parties can't intercept your personal info. And yeah, that's pretty much the definition in a nutshell. Okay. So why are they important? As one of your questions there, one of your sub-questions. Well, for three reasons, or 2.5 reasons. One is authentication and verification. The SSL certificate has information about the authenticity of certain details regarding the identity of the person, business, or website, and data encryption. It encrypts it. So authentication, verification, and data encryption. Those are the things that make it important. Okay. Now, regarding the different types, via my research, via Googling for this answer, there were quite a few answers. Typically 3 different types of baseline SSL certs, up to like 10 or 11, because there's some variations of them within them as well. So the 3 main types are this. There's a DV, an OV, and EV. So DV is domain validated, OV is organization validated, and EV is extended validated. And what those all mean is this. So domain validated is an SSL certificate that shows the domain is registered, that the site administrator is running the URL. Okay. And it can be validated through email, DNS, or HTTP. Domain validated, I said that one already. Did I? Yes, I think I did. No. Oh, yeah. So that first one was, DV. OV is this one. The organization validated, that's what organization validated is, that you own the domain while also verifying that you also own an organization in a particular country, city, or state. Okay. And the EV, extended validated, requires more information to be given to prove that I own the business, more records to kind of confirm that. So the differences are just levels of verification that the authority giving the SSL certificate goes and does on behalf of the end user, if you will. So DV, OV, and EV. It gets very confusing, right? So anyway, it's kind of org. I'm writing this one down here because I mistyped that. So for the show notes. So yeah, again, Extended validation is going to be the highest level of them, technically, because there's going to be a lot more steps for a company to go through. And there's pros and cons to all of them, and that could be an entire episode on its own right. I did the research there for you. So at a bare minimum, you want something. You want, domain validated at a bare minimum. Secondarily, maybe the organization validation. Extended, you probably don't need at a baseline level right now, unless you're a really big company like a Nike, Apple, Coca-Cola, something like that. I think if you're huge, then yes, maybe. Okay, a single name, and also the question about single name and wildcard SSL certificates. So a single name SSL protects one subdomain. If you get a certificate for like website.com, it won't apply to mail.website.com. Okay, the wildcard lets you do that. Wildcard lets you have a number of subdomains, intentionally unlimited number of subdomains, having that wildcard. And those cost have a different pricing point as well. So as far as cost goes and the hosting and whatnot, there's Let's Encrypt, which offers a free standard domain validation. That's what I use for all my sites and my client sites. It's completely free. Many hosting companies actually allow for this to be installed with a simple click in their own dashboard or cPanel, et cetera. Not dashboard, but cPanel or whatever their backend may be. Okay. If you want a higher level certificate, I would recommend going to a vendor like Komodo because that's what they do, and it makes sense. And they prices start from $8 a year up to $89. And the more you buy, like the more years you buy ahead of time, the better deal it is. So a better discount for a 5-year contract. Also, many hosting companies will also make it easy because they actually connect also to Komodo on their backend, like SiteGround, A2. I mean, they all have those plug and play opportunities. They resell that service as well. It's kind of a convoluted thing, especially like I said, organization validated versus extended versus single sign-on and wild name. If you're doing a lot of subdomains, let's say you're setting up a multi-site, you're going to have to get a definite wildcard. That's definitely what you want to get. If it was just doing a single site one at a time, I would just go with Let's Encrypt. So that's my opinion on that. Your mileage may vary, and it's just it's a rabbit hole of information. It's kind of crazy. I did a ton of reading on this for you, so I hope that helps and answers your question. If it doesn't, shoot me another question next time in 8 weeks. All right, second question. This question came from Rob over itchyrobot.co.uk. I guess after listening to my episode about working from home and tips lately, a couple weeks back, he had some questions about me working from home as I've been at it for a few years. So thanks for the question and thanks for reaching out, Rob. And his email is nice and long, but I narrowed this down to the questions. So like 3 questions in here. He asks, for the most part, what made me shake it up? How did my customers take it? And was there any staff negativity? I shook it up because I left the day job. I left to launch this agency, what I'm doing right now, 4 years ago, and I needed a place to work. So it was just a matter of cost savings. I mean, I didn't need to get an office to do what I'm doing right now at the moment. I had a home office. I had the space to do it. Customers mostly were just fine. Most of my customers are remote anyways. Some people want to meet in person. If that's the case and they're across the country or the world, I guess they're not going to be my client. And my staff, the people I work with, contractors and whatnot, they're all remote now. I had one local for the first time ever, and that person's no longer with me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, these days, this was all before COVID anyways, so it didn't really matter at the same time. Final question that Rob asks is, if I was going to do it all again, would I do the same? Well, yes, I would. But I do miss going to places. I mean, yes, I have a home office, and I work from home a majority of the time. Right now, I'm forced to work from home. I can't go to a co-working space. I can't go to a coffee shop with a library. And that's what I miss the most, honestly. I do miss interaction. I miss being in physical presence with people. More often than not, on a daily basis, I will FaceTime a buddy of mine, and we'll co-work next to each other, like via phone. So just kind of, he's working on his thing for work, and I'm working on my stuff, and we'll just kind of chit-chat. I miss that. I really do. So anyway, yeah, I would totally do it again. And it's just, having an office is alluring in one aspect. To have a separation of home and work would be nice again in one aspect, but financially, right now, doesn't quite make sense. So yeah, there you go. Okay, last question. This is sent in by Max. The site health check area is annoying as my clients think it's the end all and they want everything to be perfect. It's not in his opinion. It's not in IMO, in my opinion, in his opinion. How can I disable it? Well, there are 2 ways to disable this, Max. This is a great question, actually. 2 ways. One, you can add some code to the child theme in the functions.php file, and I'll put that code in the show notes. And also, there's a plugin called Remove Site Health from Dashboard. It's exactly the same thing as that code, but it's in a plugin format. So I would prefer to add it to my child theme, if you're running a child theme, as you should as a best practice, and that way the client won't see the plugin to turn it off. I think is another option there. That's the thing, because there's no options in that plugin. It just does the code. but the client could see that if they have admin rights. So just put it in the child name. It's like, what's it? 1, 2, 3 lines of code, and it just kind of turns it off. So there you have it. All right. Well, that is it for the Q&A this week. Moving on, segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This was sent in by Elisa, I believe. Yes. This is a visual site map tool online called Gloomaps, Gloo maps.com. Visual site map tool. Pretty cool if you're just doing some layouts, basic site mapping things. You can save it, you can share them, you can export it, and it's completely free. So there you go. gloomaps.com. So check that out if you're looking to do some site map design work. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. You can support the show, become a Patreon. You can sponsor the show. There's a form on the website to sponsor. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.